Some designs speak louder than words. They tell stories of tradition, strength, and change. You have probably seen such powerful work. But did you ever stop to think or imagine the person behind it? What if we told you that the brilliant mind behind these designs moves through life in crutches and calipers?
In today's episode, we will talk about talent beyond physical disabilities or physical limits. We question how the society sees disability. And our spotlight today will be on Geeta Castellino, who has won 7 international awards, 3 national awards, and 7 state awards. Let's move on to Geeta Castellino.
Namaste everyone. Today in our Shakti podcast, we have a superwoman with us as our guest. She is Geeta Castellino. She is an educationist. She is a social psychologist. She is a career advisor, and she is also board member of Kala Ghoda Association. So let's begin with asking her our questions.
Hi Geeta, it is wonderful to have you here. We are so blessed, I feel. So the first question coming in your direction is, you wear many hats, just as Kalyani told us just now. You're a psychologist, you're an educator, a fashion expert. How did you let these shape your diverse and rich career?
Basically, I started as a textiles person. I did my studies in textiles from JJ Sulafats, did my masters from Sasmira, and then did my research work from All India Handloom Board's Weaver Service Center. But if you know that in 1980s, seems like a very prehistoric time, but that is a time when Mumbai was going through a very bad phase with textile mills closing down. A lot of strikes were happening, and that was a time it was very difficult to get jobs as a textiles person. And that is when actually I also thought that I have to have plan B ready, so that if textile fails and if I cannot do something with textile as a profession, then what to do. And that is how I enrolled myself in SNDT University for psychology, did my psychology bachelor's and then master's, and then started my own practice, basically with not career guidance as such first. But first, I used to do personal counseling for physical and mental abuse for children.
Super.
So may I ask, who were the key figures in your life that encouraged or inspired you throughout your journey?
Definitely my mother. My mother is my role model actually, and as we speak, you will also get to know a little more about me personally. Being a physically challenged person, and I had polio at the age of 2.5 years, and whatever I am today basically, and my whole personality is changed with what my mother has gone through and what my mother has put in her efforts in what I am today. I also feel there are a lot of other people who have actually shaped me what I am today, and professionally, personally also to a certain extent. And I think when it comes to academics, I got into academics from textiles because of Kusumtai Wankhede, who was the chairperson of Arts and Crafts Education Society and who was a friend of my mother's. But basically, when I started giving interviews after my graduation and post-graduation, my main difficulty was because of my handicap which came in between, that I must have given more than 70 interviews and failed in all. Nothing to do with what talent I have or what kind of work I do or what graduation I've done, but it's mainly because of the physical challenges that I faced, and that is where I think Kusumtai Wankede was a great help, because she was the one who encouraged me to get into academics. Besides that, I have also worked with Mr. Vijay Merchant a lot, since he used to be part of social activities and social work, and I used to do a lot of work with him. Besides that, there have been a lot of professors, teachers. Definitely my school principal, where I studied, Balmohan Vidya Mandir. It's a Marathi medium school, and it's an inclusive education again, which we are talking about like 60 years back or 58 years back. I think inclusive education, even today, when we have conferences and seminars, I still discuss the same things, and we still having problems, and we're still in India facing a lot of problems, having physically challenged children getting into normal schools. And that is where I feel, and I'm very proud about it, that my principal Dada Saheb Rege was one of the pioneers who actually had the foresight to get me admitted into the school.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, can you take us back to your early childhood? What were some of the unique challenges you faced growing up, and how did you navigate them? I remember personally having seen you in Mere Apne with Meena Kumari and Vinod Khanna. I was also a little good at that time.
Talking about my disability a little bit, about 2.5 years when I got polio, I had lost my speech. I had lost muscle power with both my lower limbs and my right hand. And that is when actually, I'm sure my parents were definitely shocked about it, and they must have definitely carried out a lot of tests, and a lot of tests, not socially but also personally. And I think that is where the challenges lied, and my parents were the backbone for me, and my grandparents, my full family actually. And here I would like to also say that if your family is not with you, it becomes very difficult to go where I am today. Today I am actually, basically, I do not even consider myself a physically challenged person or Divyang, but a normal person. And though you can't run away from reality, but at the same time, I think this is what I am today, and with what confidence I am a professional today is only because of the family and family support, which is very much needed. And that is how my day started, basically with hospital. My hospital was my second home, and I think till the 4th standard I never actually went to school to study. That was another plus point, that the principal had agreed upon it, that I go only for first term and final exams to school, and the rest of the studies what was there, I used to study at home. My mother used to take the studies from me, and the class teachers who were there in school, they would come on Saturdays home to mention to my mother what is it that throughout the week what they have taught. And then Saturday, Sunday, she used to teach me those subjects. Those notebooks will be filled, and my grandfather would take the books to the school to give it to the class teacher. So she would, after 3-4 days, she would correct them and send to see whether what I was doing and what my mother was doing was the right way of doing things.
Wow, fantastic.
Basically, my whole day would go like 7:30 when we would get up and go first to the hospital, do physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. From 8 o'clock till 12:30, we used to be in the hospital. Another thing I would also say is that was a time when I had calipers still here, both limbs, and it was very difficult to walk. So my mother used to travel by public transport. And when she used to travel by public transport, especially by BST buses in Mumbai, she would carry me and climb in the buses. And we would go to Wadia Hospital for my treatment. And that never stopped for 15 years.
My God.
And that is something which is, I think it's so incredible, that I was the only constant patient in the hospital. The rest of the children who used to come, parents used to always feel that क्या होने वाला है बच्चे का. So it's like, whether how much can somebody actually progress with this kind of a challenge. So they would just take back and go back home and say that we don't want to come back for the treatment. And that is when I think today when I realize that what my mother has done, my father has done, both of them, that this is something because of which I could progress even with my handicap. Secondly, after from hospital, when we used to again go back to my grandparents' place, my mother's parents, that is where we started living because it was much easier for her to commute with me to hospital. So we used to come home, have lunch, and then go to Mahatma Gandhi Memorial swimming pool at Shivaji Park.
Wow.
So for 13 years, I did swimming from 3 o'clock till 5 o'clock. So 3 to 5 was actually at that time the population also was not that much, and there were too many polio patients. So the children's section used to be there from 3 to 5 at the memorial, at Gandhi Memorial, for swimming. So that is where I learnt my swimming, and I used to go every day there from Monday to Saturday. After we finished that, before swimming, my mother used to also take me to the beach for sand therapy. The sand therapy was something where she would keep the big metal drums were cut, and she had kept them there. And not being so populated, Mumbai was not so populated. I think there was no question of somebody maybe just some thief coming over and taking over things, but that drum would remain there on the beach, and she would take me along with one more assistant whom she had got, so that she would put me on inside the drum, and that hot sand that man used to pour inside. So for 1.5 hours, I used to stand in that.
My God.
So that was sand therapy. And I think I was like a guinea pig in the hospital, because being the way I said that I was a constant patient, all the new therapies which came in India, all were tried on me basically. It's from ice therapy to sand therapy to shock treatment to everything.
Oh my God.
Fantastic. I don't know. I think we are very blessed, and you are very blessed to have such wonderful parents and
Absolutely.
grandparents. Amazing. I don't think at that time anybody would have thought about these kind of therapies, you know. This must have been very new. Like you said, they tried on you.
Right.
But you
They
were
were all new therapies, even for the doctors and physiotherapists.
I know.
Fantastic.
I'm also first time hearing about sand therapy.
Yeah.
Like shock therapy, just to give you an example, once my father had come over to the hospital, and he was looking at it, and when he saw the shock treatment giving to me, and he was little taken aback. So he told the physiotherapist, I would like to take the therapy to see how it is.
How it
and
is.
he just couldn't. He just said that not even 10 seconds he could take it, and he was saying it was something. But I think that was the time when my muscles were definitely dead. So even for me, it wasn't that bad. And that is how I think the muscle power came back.
Came back. Super.
Fantastic.
So glad that we are blessed to interview you on these things which we never knew till date. But this is an eye opener for all of us. Definitely.
True, true. So, as you're talking about your disabilities, so at one point of time, you had lost your voice, and then you regained your voice and independence during your childhood. So, was there a moment when you truly felt I can do this, no matter what? Like working in a movie, like ma'am mentioned, Mere Apne, and working with stalwarts like Meena Kumari and Vinod Khanna, I think.
Shatrughan Sinha also.
Yeah, Shatrughan Sinha. Gulzar ji's debut directorial.
Debut movie, oh.
At the age of 2.5 years, I got polio. So I don't know what I actually felt, or whether when was it that I actually started feeling that I was different.
Okay.
But I was a very introvert child. I think after SSC, I became little extrovert after I joined Jesus School of Arts, when I started getting more friends and things like that. Because even in school, I did not have much friends. As I said, that till 4th standard, I only would go for exams, and that was it. From 5th standard onwards, I started going in the afternoons to school, and my school bag used to be kept in the classroom by my brother or by my sister.
Okay.
So I think when exactly I started getting to understand that something was different, I really do not know. But that introvertness could have been because of my problems, which maybe my subconscious mind knew at that early age also. I don't think we should underestimate that age also, because I'm sure at that time also I could understand a little bit of things. But when you're talking about Mere Apne, it's I usually jokingly say, but I think that is reality, that Gulzar ji, our neighbor was there who used to work at Haji Ali, All India Institute of Physical Medicine and Research at Haji Ali Hospital. And when Mere Apne was supposed to be started, the shoot was supposed to be started, Gulzar ji used to go to that hospital. He was going there for like almost 3 months to find the child which he needed who had polio. But he could not get. What also happens with polio patients is that because there is no exercise, not much of exercise, and most of the parents, like with me, it was a vigorous treatment, and that is how I was I basically in proper shape, maybe thinner also, and which most of the polio patients are very bulky and very stout. So he did not want that. He wanted somebody. When I say to people, I always say today that he actually wanted somebody who looked like a beggar. And that is how I was selected, maybe because when she said that, when the neighbor said that, three Shobha Kanvinde, she came and told my mother one day, and she said that, this director is his first directorial debut, and he's been coming 3 months every day to check on patients, and he's not been finding what he really wants. And I think Geeta is the right person, because Geeta does look like a beggar. So, so that is how actually my mother said, okay, we'll see how. And my mother's condition, my parents' condition was only that when the shooting happens, it should be only in the vacation, not otherwise. And I was in the second standard then. So she said that because of my hospital routine and my swimming and everything, she did not want to discontinue that. And then Shobha Kanvinde took me to Gulzar ji's office, and he immediately looked at me and said, yes, I think that was it, that he wanted somebody who was very thin. And that is how but I really don't know what I felt, or I did not know anything much about, I never watched movies by then, and so I did not know who Vinod Khanna was, who Shatrughan. It was Shatrughan Sinha's first film and as a villain, and Vinod Khanna's first film as a hero. Yogita Bali's first film. Danny Denzongappa was there, and Meena Kumari. So I was completely pampered, but more than that, I did not know much about how big they were as artists or as film fraternity, and so that was it. And so, but I just managed to do the film, and the film was released after a year.
You were a baby at that time. So your name also is written as Baby Geeta. Yeah. But
after that, actually, there was another film which came called Aag Gale Lag Ja. Shashi Kapoor's film. They had offered the role, but because that required a polio patient. But then my parents had said no, because that was going to be a very big role, and it would take about a year's time, and we did not want to discontinue with medical treatment, basically. So that was the end of it, first and last.
Okay. But when did you realize that you can do anything that you wish to do?
At what age?
At what age?
I think after I went to JJ School of Arts.
Okay.
Because till then, my mother used to actually carry me, or even in the school when I used to go by school bus, the peons used to carry me to my classroom and things like that. So that was the time I'm sure I was not that comfortable, somebody picking me up and taking me, because the other students are watching you, juniors, seniors, and even the teachers. And I did not have much friends at that time in school, but though where we lived in that society, I think I had such great friends, and I think I also give a lot of credit to these friends who are of my age, younger to me or elder to me, because I have played each and every game with them, from Kho-Kho to Chain to whatever you say, Lagori, whatever you say, and then I've played. Maybe I was just a Limbu Timbu that time, but they would involve me in every game. Not just that, but I think also an understanding where at that particular age the children with such that I think at that time when we were young, we never had our own bicycles. We would get bicycles on rent.
Rent.
So 10 paisa and 50 paisa.
Correct.
We get for half an hour, 1 hour. So when during the vacations, especially during summer vacations and Diwali vacations, these children would never want me to feel that I cannot ride a bicycle. So when I would be in the hospital doing my treatment, so they would get their bicycles that time for one hour and use those for their cycling. So I think that is something which I feel is I don't know, that was a maturity and the kind of maturity at that particular time. So you cannot actually underestimate children that they don't understand.
Exactly.
They are very
They're-
sensitive.
A lot of
Sensitive.
things which I think can be learned from these experiences of mine.
Absolutely.
And after 10th standard, I started using BST bus, and first one week my father would come with me every day to take me to college and get me back. After 1 week, my 3 other friends were there who used to live there only and nearby. So all 4 of us would travel, and I started traveling. JJ School of Arts, another thing, we used to have big portfolios. So those portfolios I couldn't carry, though I could carry my backpack. So what we had kept one peon, and my parents used to pay him monthly, and he used to come with me in the bus and keep my portfolio in the classroom. While coming back, my friends would carry that portfolio with them. Another thing is, these friends also could come by train because railway concession you get as students. But they refused to do that, and they started coming with me by bus. At that time, there were no student concessions for buses. So we used to travel from there. I had a lot of good experience also traveling by bus because the conductor, whenever they would, because I had to walk 15 minutes to come to the bus stop from where we lived. So even if a time would come when I'm crossing the road and the conductor or even some of the regular passengers who were there in the BST bus would tell him to stop so that I can come and get inside that same time bus.
Yeah.
And that was something which I think I have found a lot of positive and lot of encouraging people because of whom my confidence level definitely grew up. Even as I started getting friends in JJ School of Arts, when we used to go for study tours and things like that, I think that was something which I will give full credit to my friends and definitely professors.
Yeah, you feel blessed, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So good. Geeta, the next question. How has your life experience shaped your approach to education and mental wellness?
Mental wellness, how so far whatever I have talked about my school admissions to everything, but one thing I also is about sports, and I think NASIO, there is this organization called National Society of Equal Opportunities for the Handicapped. Mr. Vijay Merchant was the chairman of that particular organization, and they used to have from 1965 onwards, I think they used to have state level tournaments and sports competitions happening at Brabourne Stadium in Mumbai.
Wow.
And I started participating in the running competitions and as well as in darts from the time I was 3.5 years old. And my very good memory of 3.5 years old was that the first time that I had participated, but chief guest was General Kariyappa.
Wow.
And in General Kariyappa, when I had got a bronze medal for running, and for darts I had got gold medal in the category of 3 to 7 years old. And I was 3.5 years that time. And when he was presenting me with the medals, my physiotherapist came running and told him that she's the first time participant, and he was himself so overwhelmed that he ran back and he got his own bouquet, which was being felicitated by. And he got that and he gave it to me. And
Wow.
I think that is something which came into the Illustrated Weekly magazine. and I think that memory I still have. Besides that, I also feel that these are small nitty gritty things, but which also makes one psychologically much more stronger.
Correct.
Secondly, also the way I say that the teachers, the way they uh, behaved or they actually treated me as a normal person, my own family members, my own neighbors, or my friends who were living in the building. Besides that, also when I started traveling by bus in college, a lot of times there was not much social awareness, which is even today there is not.
Yeah.
But today, to an extent, I can say yes. At that time, at the bus stop, whenever we would stand for the bus, many times people have also said that क्यों क्यों आने का बस में किस लिए चढ़ने का, किस लिए तुम घर में आराम से बैठो ना. You know, that kind of a situation where they used to feel that why should she unnecessarily keep on going here and there, because then we have to also be careful about things. More than that, also there would be comments, and these comments you hear even today by a lot of people saying that किसी ने पाप किया होगा घर में, या you know कर्म ऐसा होगा, and these kinds of things, and my friends would get irritated, and I think at that particular time I also had that kind of understanding where I felt they do not understand. So I used to very nicely explain to them it's nothing to do with karam, or it's nothing to do with what life was before अगले जन्म का, पहले जन्म का, and things like that. And I used to talk to them about what is polio and things like that, which my friends used to think you should not be actually explaining things because it's quite irritating that they talk about this. But these are the kinds of things I think also made me more, maybe another thing of leadership skill, where I felt that I need to give something to society to tell them that what is the truth and what is it that because of which they could think. Because there are times when many a times mothers would, when the child is there with them, their child, they would say that अगर ज्यादा पंगा किया ना तो ऐसा होगा, you know, that kind of a thing. So that was the thing. I think my psyche became much more stronger to tell people that what exactly is polio, or what exactly a physical disability is. And I used to be happy with that, that I used to be satisfied that I am telling somebody out of 100 people, even if 5 people understand what I'm talking about. So that was also another thing. And that is how I think I became stronger, that more bad memories which are there. Today when you ask me what are the bad memories, I don't remember. But and I should not even remember, because I feel otherwise you never grow and you never go further.
Correct.
But I feel that all these bad memories, all these bad experiences make you what you are and to become more successful in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic.
And education is something which you were talking about. 8th standard, I think by 8th standard, for school, I won a lot of drawing awards and painting awards and things like that. And I was not a studious child, and I was neither did I want to study something too much. It was a different matter that I became an academician later on, but at that time I thought सीखना नहीं है ज़्यादा कुछ. And that is how, just to draw, I started telling my parents that I want to go to JJ School of Arts. And we used to live near Kirti College that time, just opposite Kirti College. And my grandfather used to always tell me, "Samne Kirti College hai, just go to Kirti College." And I used to say no, because it used to take like 15 minutes for me to walk to the bus stop, and then another 1 hour to go by bus to JJ School of Arts at VT. But I think I had already decided I don't want to study much and I want to only draw, without realizing what it exactly is, because there also we had chemistry, we had history of art and things like that. Because since I chose textiles, it was more of chemistry of dyes, chemistry of fibers and things like that. But I think that was another thing that I started learning. And the way I said that, because of these textile strikes and things like that, I started studying psychology and I became a psychologist. And I think that is how I started. I grew with studying, that I started liking what academics was.
Super. Fantastic.
Fantastic. So then what does success look like to you now, and how has it changed? Do you think it has changed over a period of time? Your view of success?
I think with each individual from their childhood to the adulthood, it's definitely, it makes a lot of difference, and I think I'm successful today.
Super.
And I'm also successful because I started 11 colleges in India on for fashion, and I design and develop curriculums for fashion. Whatever I've studied, I did my MMS, that is my Masters in Management Studies from Wellinkers, and everything I put together into fashion curriculums today. And 13 colleges I have designed and developed, where I have put everything together basically, which is not just about design, but I always feel that design is nothing but psychology, history, geography, sociology, everything combined together along with management. And that is how today I develop the curriculums. Another thing I would also like to talk about is inclusive design or adaptive clothing, which is what I think from the beginning, my mother was also the one who would think that I should look smart, how much ever my disability is very much visible. And that is what came to me. And I have always worn very smart clothes. I have always, my mother used to stitch clothes in such a way that from my calipers, how I could manage to see to it that the calipers are not seen and they are still comfortable. And that is what came to me, and I started feeling that I should do something with it. And since I came into fashion, textiles is the backbone of fashion industry. And when I started getting into fashion academics in SNDT University, started working with Hemant Trivedi and Wendell Rodrigues, Nita Lulla, and the other colleagues of mine. And that is when I started feeling that I very, very strongly felt that I should do something for those who have disabilities. And in India, we have, or not just India, but WHO, World Health Organization, has actually introduced 21 disabilities, official disabilities. And I started working on it and started designing and developing curriculums, only modules only for inclusive design or for the clothing. Okay. And that is how in 2018, Ekansh Trust of Anita Iyer, it's an NGO which Anita Iyer runs, and she also wanted to do something, and both of us together put up a fashion show with, there were about 70 fashion institutes from all over India participated, where the students designed clothes for, each one was asked to take up one disability and work on it basically. Fantastic. And that was something where I had to go to each college to talk to the faculty first, because faculty does not understand what is it exactly that needs to be done. Secondly, the mentors were those from that particular disability. Oh. That they became mentors and they told the teachers, the professors or the students what is it that they require or they do not require in their clothes. And then accordingly the designs were made for visually impaired, for physically challenged, even for mentally challenged. Because for mentally challenged, the caregivers or parents really have a hard time making these children or these adults wear clothes. So what are the kinds of clothes that they should be able to comfortably make them wear? So these are the kinds of things. And we invited for the fashion show. Fashion show was done at in Pune in JW Marriott, and where I had invited all the fashion institutes principals as well as some of the university vice chancellors, some industry people, fashion industry, fashion and garment industry. And it was taken up so well that many of the vice chancellors asked me to design and develop curriculums only for inclusive design.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Wow. Yes, ma'am.
I've never heard of such a huge fashion show in JW Marriott for the 75 disabilities. You said. Amazing.
And students
story.
did such a wonderful job.
Yeah.
They
It was
require,
incredible.
require a platform like this to come out with their best. Fantastic. So we're almost coming to the last few questions. What do you think organizations like Shakti are important for nurturing girls from the underserved communities? You have been coming to our center a couple of times. You've been there. You were the chief guest on the annual day. So what do you think?
First of all, Shakti girls, I think, are so blessed that you as a mentor, along with everybody, Kalyani ma'am, all of them who are the teachers who are actually helping Shakti girls to nurture their talent and come where, because I always feel that each child has definitely such good brains. They do not know how to use it, or even the parents do not know, teachers do not know sometimes that how they should be nurtured, and that is what you are doing. I think mentally also they have been growing. Personality enhancement is something which I think Shakti girls are very blessed with, because along with the after school, when they come over to Shakti, uh, the kind of life skills they get are much more than what they would get either at home or in their neighborhood or in the school. And which is what I'm sure I have also interacted a lot of with a lot of Shakti girls, and they, I think, love to come more to Shakti classes rather than going to even school. So I think their personality definitely enhances, and I'm sure you get to see them within 6 to 7 months only how they completely transform themselves.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, what would you say to young girls facing barriers? Like you have faced lot of barriers, and whether it is social, emotional, or physical, who are unsure of their potential. Just like you were mentioning, like they are not sure of their brains or their potential. So, what would you advise them?
I personally feel it's a gradual process when you are growing up with so many different kinds of good, bad, whatever experiences. You learn so much through them, and one needs to have open mind basically to life, and you should actually enjoy whatever you are doing, and that is what is very, very important. At the same time, to understand that you have some potential. Uh, Always there would be somebody, some mentor or some teacher, maybe your parent, somebody, your sister, your brother, somebody who could be actually not directly but indirectly helping you out in making you understand that where you stand and where you can go, and that is what is very important, that dream big, and you must dream big, and everybody should dream.
So we almost at the last question. Thank you for your patience, and we really enjoyed going through your journey. And
I'm enjoying talking about it.
so the last question is, if you could leave one message for every young girl listening to this podcast. This podcast is not only for Shakti, it's going to be to all, particularly young girls listening to this podcast. What is that one message that you would like to leave?
Something which I would say that in India, it could, you might find it very harsh, but even a normal person lives like an insect,
Correct.
and it becomes so completely difficult for physically or mentally challenged people to survive like this, especially to be independent. Uh, Whether you talk about education, inclusive education, you talk about accessibility. Everywhere people talk, people have conferences, people have seminars, but nothing happens after
Correct.
that.
Absolutely.
And that is one thing which I would always say, and my parents have put that and inculcated that in me, is also that you stand on your own 2 feet, and you don't bother about people are giving you any kind of help or not, whether government is helping you or not. I myself never in my entire career or life have taken any concessions which the government has provided, because I always feel they look very good on paper, but in reality it's completely a different thing. And at the same time, we need to also understand that there are things which you yourself can do and nobody else can, and that is what matters most. And if you want to go somewhere, you want to achieve something, you need to be on your own independently and not bother or not be concerned about who's helping you and who's doing what.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Geeta. I'm sure Kalyani also enjoyed
I
this
enjoyed
session.
a lot. Definitely. And thank you so much, Geeta.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very much. Thank you for listening patiently.
Yes, there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
So much to learn. Thanks.